Roll call, please.
Mr. Shi,
Here.
Mr. Vishal Patel, Ms. Peng.
Is there?
She's here.
She's walking down the hall.
Here she comes. And change that to a present. Ms. White,
Here.
Mr. Romano,
Here.
Ms. Anjana Patel,
Here.
Mr. Lugo,
Here.
Mr. Ronak Patel, Mr. Errico.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Opening statement.
Yes, in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, C-231, 1975, Sunshine Law, the Edison Township Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, place thereof posted on the Board of Education administrative offices. Copies of this notice were sent to the Home News Tribune and the Star Ledger.
Okay. So today we're going to go to the privileges session first. So anything to read? Oh, it's in the back.
I got it. You want me to take care of it? Yeah. Okay. In accordance with NJSA Section 10:4-2, the Edison Township Board of Education adjourns to confidential session for the purposes of legal matters, confidential board matters, personnel. I think that's it. That's it.
Okay.
And that's it. Thank you.
All
Motion.
right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
So we'll be back in about half an hour, 45 minutes. Thank you.
On the second, right? Yes.
Yes, Joe, yes. You guys had a chance to tour the facility while we were having our closed session over there. And I say 45 minutes, we were right on time. Okay, so can I have a motion to reconvene to the open session?
Motion.
Okay. And do I have a second? Okay, Mrs. White, Mr. Romano. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So today, one of the agenda item is to have a public hearing on the budget again. So now I'm open up for public comments on the budget only, public comments. Okay? Yeah, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody is well.
Your name.
Oh, my name is Brian Rivera,
Thank you.
and I live in Edison.
Can you
Okay.
make it louder? Yeah, it's voice enough. Yeah, say something.
You guys hear me?
Oh, no, that's good.
All right.
Okay, all right.
That's good, because I got a few things to say. I did kind of prepare something while I was sitting outside, so I really want to talk about this budget. So while the budget may cover next year's immediate needs, responsible fiscal planning involves preparing for the future uncertainties, something a modest tax increase could help address. I don't think that taking $22 million out of our capital, leaving the district with a little over than $1 million, is the right way to go. The zero increase budget might feel good now, but it risks underfunding key initiatives or deferring maintenances that leads to higher long-term costs. Failing to plan ahead could force the district into a steeper tax increases or budget cuts later, something far more disruptive to both students and taxpayers. And I'm talking about that bank cap. My main concern is our students. The effects of this budget on our students' experiences and their achievement. Speaking from experience, I have personally seen how a budget can drive or affect student achievement. If the district doesn't grow its revenue base, students could face less personalized instruction, fewer academic or extracurricular options, delayed upgrades to technology facilities, less support for vulnerable learners, and overall decline in morale and engagement, not just for our students, but also our staff. As I said, I've experienced this for the last couple of years. So with that said, I have 6 questions. And with this said, I'm going to direct these questions to the educator that sits on the dais. How will student services be preserved or expanded without new revenue? What's the plan for rising costs? Without new revenue, how will the district cover these increases without affecting students? How will the district invest in academic recovery and achievement? Can these programs be sustained or expanded with flat funding? Will facilities and learning environments be affected or neglected by this as well? A 5-year tax freeze might sound good for the wallets, but without increased investment, we risk cutting corners on what matters most, and that's our students' success. We need a budget that ensures equity, academic growth, and a safe, well-equipped learning environments for every child in this district. I hope the board considers my comments. Thank you.
Okay, is there other comments? Any other comments from public? Okay, you want to address some of that? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, revenue question.
Mr. Rivera, what was the question regarding revenue again? I'm sorry, the question regarding revenue? I don't write that fast. I'm not going to pretend to try and write 6
So my
questions.
first question was, how will student services be preserved or expanded without new revenue?
Right, so
Because
think
we have that whole strategic
Sure.
plan where that had a whole budget.
So I think you'll see in our presentation where the original services and programs that we've been offering are still in place. We didn't cut any principals' budget, nor did we cut any supervisors' budget. In terms of expanding new programs, I think part of that wonderful PowerPoint that Ms. Daniels put through speaks to some of the new academies that we're going to be having, right? New opportunities for all of our students here in Edison. In terms of new revenue, there is no new revenue, right? We actually had a reduction in state aid, but we were able to use some of our fund balance, which was about 16 million.
6 more than 9.
Right, 16.9, thank you, Mr. Shi. This is double from the previous year or any year. So that's a really huge accomplishment that we were able to do that. And as to the capital reserve, right, those are things that we've been able to restrict and put into legally funded reserves and use them for, the property, plant, and equipment of the district, which we've been doing. And we continue to do, because investment in infrastructure is important. The budget covered contractual raises along with increases in healthcare costs. We did even add busing to hopefully have some additional courtesy routes. Is it as many as I would have liked? Am I adding, 25 new buses, right? No, but there's some in there. We're just not doing a lot of discretionary things that we once might have done.
So,
And then I could probably answer some of the other pieces in relationship to that.
Sit down.
So I think the overarching question was, how are student programs going to be affected, right? If we were to kind of summarize some of those particular pieces. So currently, there are no programs that are currently being cut, reduced. We did not touch class size. We took a deep dive into the budget and looked at a couple different things. Number one, we looked at our digital content providers as well too, both chief academic officers as well as Dr. Toohey. Looked at some of our digital content that we have access to but may not have reflected the usage that we would have liked, right? So we are prioritizing what type of content we're going to be utilizing and look for any redundancies and overlap there. Nothing's been eliminated, like Mr. Toth said. Principal budgets, school-based budgets are not. I know they may hear, we did move away from the printers, right? That's usually ones that we get all the time too about.
Yeah, we have moved away from printers, the desktop type printers, and instead we're utilizing the printer copier fax, like a printing center at various locations throughout the building.
Definitely
So
a
we're cutting back on
yeah.
toner and things of that nature.
Definitely a change for staff, and I often don't like the practice as well. I love having my own printer in my office too, but from a financial standpoint, it's definitely more cost effective in relationship to toner, the lease payments that we have, as well as the ability to regulate those. Plan for rising costs? Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, right? You look at, hopefully, it's contingent upon the economy, right? One of the things that we know are fixed costs, right? That's kind of how you plan your school budget. It is based off of fixed costs of teacher salaries, right? So if you're looking at a $378 million budget, $200 million of that is salaries, another $50 million of that is healthcare costs. So there's very little discretionary when it kind of comes to the areas where we can play around with, and therefore, for as far as rising costs are concerned, you know that's you can't plan for what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I think that's accurate. And if you look at it, the budget's a moving target. It really is, because that's exactly what it is. It's a budget, right? The minute the board approves a budget, 3 months from now, you know, there could be, you know, a financial calamity, right? And you have to be able to take action, right? And whether that be through raising revenue somehow or reducing your expenditures, that's why we have the professionals in place, like myself, Dr. Aldarelli, and the business office staff in place, is to be able to do that, to be able to, you know, meet those challenges, which we've done time and time again. This board has kept the pre-K program operating when the state didn't give us our grant, which I feel like we're more than entitled to. The board made it a commitment to service those kids, and we've continued to do so.
Yeah, and I think one of the key pieces, though, is the $16.9 million in unassigned fund balance that was utilized this year, which will not be, you know, won't be available next year. So it will be a different conversation that we need to talk about at that time. But as far as this year, no programs are currently getting cut. We are ensuring access to all clubs, sporting programs, resources for teachers. We're actually expanding resources for teachers as well, too. Our engagement platform, I would say that it's a pretty comprehensive budget, and I think the people that worked on it did a really good job.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Yes, Beth.
Beth Talke, 15 Midwood Avenue, Edison. Just a question, because I haven't been able to see, you know, like the complete budget, just the presentation. It's great that, like, in the presentation, we said about, like, all this new building and stuff that, yes, we do need. How much money is allotted in this budget to cover what we already have, like maintaining our buildings, if we should have things like boilers breaking, air conditioners breaking, you know, in schools and stuff? How much, is there like a contingency in the budget for that? And is it, you know, what we've had in the past so that we can cover, you know, like whoopsies, like even hearing, you know, a couple meetings ago about, you know, even the tennis courts at JP Stevens, stuff that we don't plan that happens. Where is that built into the budget, and how much is it? And is it comparable to what we've had in the past, or is that pot diminishing because money's going elsewhere? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of, like, you know, boilers and general maintenance and things of that nature, we do a report which actually kicks off the budget season. Every school district does it across the state of New Jersey. It's called the Comprehensive Maintenance Plan, and M1, that dictates basically what you're supposed to budget for the general maintenance of your PPE, your plant and equipment. If I look at our budget, what comes under Mr. Colibus is probably, for those type of things, about $4 million ballpark. That's off the top of my head. I'm not looking at the line, but that's everything from, you know, servicing those type of things, boilers and other mechanical units, HVAC, so that they're in good operating order, so we don't have things, you know, just breaking down at random, right? If you do the preventative maintenance, much like, you know, hopefully we all have like a car or a motorcycle, whatever, you know, you change the oil on it, right? Every, whatever, you know, 5,000 miles, whatever it is, 3,000 miles. If you don't do that, you're gonna have problems with your engine. So that's one of the steps. In the event that something does happen, right, like, you know, we have some type of issue where a boiler goes, we can, you know, obviously at that point in time, because we have an emergent circumstance, board could pass a resolution requesting the executive county superintendent of schools to allow us a withdrawal from one of our reserves, 1 being capital, 2 being maintenance, or 3 being our emergency. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other public comments? See none. Can I have a motion to close public comments?
Motion to close.
Do I have a second? You already spoke.
You already spoke.
Okay, go ahead.
I thought this was a hearing, so, sorry. So, I apologize, but based on the conversation, we talked about how we kept programs in order. You mentioned pre-K. So are we having, I believe, what do we have, 531 kids that were in pre-K this year, I believe, somewhere there? So my first question is, how many kids are going to be in the program next year? Are we funding 531? Because if not, then that affected a program. That's a program change. So that means students and academics were affected there. The second thing I want to talk about was the 16 million. I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you brought it up. Now, was this 16 million that you had over budgeted? Or was this 16 million that you did not spend on stuff to get that 16 million? Because I have an issue with that, because Eddie, you did just say that that 16 million ain't going to be there next year. So 16 million that you're using to cover this year's budget, you're not covering it next year. So you just lost 16 million there. The other thing too is Beth brought up issues with, God forbid, something happens. And she asked what the number was. We didn't hear a number. But from my understanding in capital, we had somewhere about 24 million, somewhere around there. Now we're taking 22 million out of that to fund this current budget, which we won't have next year either. So next year we won't have 16 million or 22 million, if I'm correct. And there's also chances of aid being lost again, because from my understanding, when I spoke to my superintendent friends and business administrator friends, they feel like there's going to be, the belt is going to get real tight next year as well. I'm sure, Eddie, in the meetings that you go to, they're saying the same thing. So again, I'm not trying to bash the hard work that you guys do. I'm worried about these kids, and especially my kid, who's going to be in the district for the next 9 years. You know, and I'm sure every parent in this town is worried about, hey, are we going to have these services that my kids are used to having now? Or are we going to have them next year? So I'm not trying to pick a fight with anybody. I just want people to hear my opinion and hear what I've experienced, because it was you guys hired a bunch of people from my district that lost their jobs. You know what I mean? You're smiling about it because you know I'm right. And I'm afraid that these issues will happen here, and it'll definitely affect our kids. So those were my questions.
Sure. So the 16.9 million, the fund balance, that was generated not from 1 year, but from multiple years. And it back in, was COVID? 2020? At some point during 2020 or 2021, state legislature allowed you to have an unassigned fund balance of 4%, right? That's what they allowed you to reserve, so to speak. So that's been carried all the way up until, for I believe like 2.5, maybe 3 years. And in 2024, after the audit was complete, you're forced to budget that money. So when the 2024 audit was complete, that fund balance is automatically appropriated into a subsequent year's budget. Well, it's not going to be 25 because 25 is happening, so it goes to 26. So it wasn't just from 1 year. It was from generated underspending through a lot of those COVID times, right, where maybe you weren't spending as much on, obviously on field trips or transportation or things of that nature. In the future, will we have that type of number? Probably not. But I hope to have at least half of it, right? Because the idea is, though, even with a budget, you may have a budget. You try and want to, spend as wisely as possible so that, you don't spend exactly everything you have. We're fortunate enough that we've been able to do things like that where, things that we may have budgeted, construction for $20 million or, $30 million comes back at, from bid at 23 and there's a savings. So we're able to realize things like that. In terms of the different reserves and numbers, I couldn't give you those exactly off the top of my head. I want to say $2 million, maybe 2 left in cap after this withdrawal. Maintenance, probably another 2, emergency 1, so maybe around 5 all in. That's off the top of my head. But don't forget, not to forget, or I have more to say is to tell you guys is that once we commence 2025 and we go through the audit, we'll probably more than likely put another deposit back into the capital reserve because that's normally what we do. So we're always, and the amounts vary from time to time, but we're always trying to put money back into that reserve for, things like now that we're going to be doing infrastructure projects or capital projects without utilizing our current expense funding. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments? See none, can I have a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, Ralph and Ronak Patel, sorry. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right.
I can make a motion.
Yes, so, yeah, we're gonna go and do this. Let me see, what is this on the agenda? Yeah, yes, can I have a motion to approve the budget resolution?
Motion to approve.
Okay?
I'd like to make a comment.
Oh, you can go, yeah, go ahead and make a comment, yes.
Usually after the,
No, on the budget.
On the budget.
Okay, yeah, let him make a comment.
Let him do a motion in a second, and then it'll be on the floor.
yeah, after the motion and is passed, yeah.
No, just curious.
So Ronak,
I second.
Okay, same, Ralph and Ronak Patel. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yes.
The budget. I've been accused of not being a senior citizen. I am. I'm 72. Number two, I think a budget is an outline of what we propose for the following year. I have concerns about our students. Now, our students demand a lot from our administration, and we demand a lot from our students. See, our students are what this board talks about a lot. So I want the students to get everything that they need: special ed, trips, education. When I first got on the board a long time ago, I learned something about you teach kids to read and then they read to learn. And I want to make sure that the budget is an outline of our strategic plan. I want to make sure that we have enough. And all I'm hearing is about zero and I can't agree with that. I want to make sure our students, the parents of our students, know that we have their back. Every time I turn around, there's a parent talking to me, and what they're saying is that when I'm not around anymore, my student has to have everything that they need to succeed in life. And I'm not asking for the world. I'm just asking for some consideration. We lost $2.6 million. There's other districts in New Jersey that are closing schools. I think one of them is closing 2 elementary schools. There's districts down here in East Brunswick. They had a big issue. I don't think, as being a taxpayer and being a senior citizen, which I was accused of being, which thank you, I don't think zero's the way to go. The kids that come to our school to learn, they learn to read and then they read to learn. I really think our teachers are doing a great job. And I understand, but I think a budget is just an outline of where we're going. So at this time, I'll reserve, but I don't agree with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board member have any comments? Yeah, Ginny.
I do. Okay. I'm deeply concerned and troubled, and I have this to say. As one of the 2 senior citizens sitting here today, I strongly disagree with the idea that raising school budget by more than 0% is an attack on seniors or taxpayers. When I was first elected during the pandemic, we promised 0% increase because families were struggling. And for 4 years, we honored that promise, largely thanks to the generous state aid that we have received. But today, we're in a very different situation. Our state aid has been drastically cut. We're receiving millions less than before. On top of that, we couldn't secure grant funding for the new preschool program and are now forced to use $22 million of our surplus, leaving us vulnerable. A major emergency like the James Monroe fire that happened 10 years ago could devastate us. Federal support is also uncertain, especially with the Department of Education in danger of no longer existing. We may even lose more funding, such as Title I, God forbid. Let's be clear. We promised 0% then, not forever. We've prioritized our taxpayers for 4 years. Now it's time to put our students and staff first. A modest increase of at least 1% is not irresponsible, it's necessary. Districts of all sizes are suffering. They're not just cutting programs that are good for their kids and our kids as well, but they're firing teachers and support staff. We can't let that happen. And that's why I'm going to be a no vote on this budget. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Any other board member?
Yeah, can I make a comment?
Yes.
First, I want to apologize that I missed the meeting last week because I had a family commitment. But if I knew that the budget might be voted down and we're risking to shut down the school, I would definitely leave everything behind and come here. What I don't understand is, we have sent this budget for county last month, right, in March. No question was asked among the board. No, Addie and John did a very good job explaining everything to us. Everything was clear. No question was asked. The first time everybody agreed on it, that's why it was sent with full board agreement to the county for approval. So what I don't understand is, why, and this is the 5th time we are having a $0 school tax increase. 5th year. No question was asked for the first 4 years. We are all, the senior citizen has been senior citizen 4 years ago. Parents has been parents 4 years ago. We have students program 4 years ago. Nothing was changed. No question was asked. But why now? That's why I'm confused. Okay? If you say this is not political, I don't find any other solution answer to this question. But either way, I appreciate the hard work of the administration that we are having a $0 school tax increase. I'm grateful as a taxpayer in this town, and I think the board is doing a good job for the taxpayers. We're being fiscally responsible for our taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board member comments? Yes.
Thank you, President Xi. Just a question for our BA, Mr. Toth. You said we have $5 million in reserve, roughly.
Sounds about right. Yep.
Okay. Is there a recommended amount that we should have?
So there is no recommended amount. The maximum you could have in an emergency reserve is $1 million. The maximum you can have in your maintenance reserve is, I believe, what is dictated on your CMP, your comprehensive maintenance plan, and your capital reserve. You can have no more than the value of your long-range facilities plan, which you could never save that much money any which way because it would be like over hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right. Okay. All right. No. Thank you for that. Also, this would be a 5th year, meaning we did go 4 years prior to this without an increase. But considering the banked capital, what is the allowable increase that could happen when the increases, when the increases have to kick in? What would be the allowable maximum that
So,
the district
okay.
can go up to?
So you're talking about, all right, assuming that you're saying next year with our bank cap, what would be the max we can generate?
Yes,
Is
the
that what you're
max.
saying? All right, I believe off the top of my head, I think next year you'd be able to generate $28 million. Through
What
bank
percent?
cap, yes.
What percentage is that?
I'm sorry, what is that?
8%.
8%? Yeah.
8%. Okay. And I know you and Dr. Aldarelli had spent a lot of time, going back and forth with the budget, and I'm sure have scrutinized it, turned it upside down on its head, looked at it in 27 different ways. Your conclusion of that, what would have been your recommendation after, and because I believe your office is going to be scrutinizing it more heavily than anybody else. Was 0 your recommendation?
We built the budget initially to 0, yes, but we did look at what 2 and 4%
Correct.
would be
Yeah, we looked at the varying options.
on the overall piece. But we built it to 0. I forget the process. Forgive me if it's out of order. Then we went to the finance committee with those particular pieces and
Correct.
Talk.
And discussed, the different options, right? Whether we went to 0, I believe 0, 1, 2, 3, 4%. We looked at those items. We still, I think one of the things that we came out of finance was that we'd be able to accomplish what we've been doing and maybe not grow our programs, as greatly, but still grow our programs and still offer, a flat tax to the taxpayer. I think that was the way to forge ahead, right? To still, deliver, what you've been giving students and a little bit more, while also taking into consideration the local taxpayer.
Right. Because I ask these questions because as a board member, I'm looking right here at the code of ethics for board members.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a taxpayer as well.
Yes,
and
you are,
and to see a fifth year of 0%, that's a great reprieve for taxpayers. Absolutely. I'm not doubting that. However, you look at the code of ethics for board members, it doesn't mention the taxpayer at all. It's, we're ethically bound to do what's best for the district, not necessarily the taxpayer. Now, of course, we want to keep it as low as we can for taxpayers, and I thought 4 years in a row was fantastic. However, then, but to board member Peng's comment, they're right, it was voted to be sent off. However, in hindsight, for me, that was imperfect information. What I've learned since then has actually made me to reverse my course. That's why. So, but thank you for answering the questions.
Any other board members? Yes, Ralph.
Thank you, Mr. Shi. First of all, I got to take issue with Ms. White. 2 senior citizens on the board?
Oh, I'm sorry. I
I know I'm a newly senior citizen.
didn't know. I thought you were a kid.
Yeah. I used to be.
You look young, you look young.
I look like
So
I'm
you
not a
should,
senior.
you should feel good.
I should let the gray hair grow back in, maybe.
Exactly how old are you, old man?
I will be 66.
That isn't even, come on now.
Congratulations.
Thank
don't
you.
look it at all.
All right, couple things. 0 tax increase. I think we're in a worse off situation now as far as taxpayers go than when COVID was here, okay? Look at what's happening around the world. Either you agree with the politics or not agree with the politics. I was just telling Ms. White, I was talking to a young lady today, she buys makeup for $30 from Amazon. It's up to $60, $65 now because of what's going on. So if we could help the taxpayer, I don't see why we wouldn't. I keep hearing from the public that we should be, and board members, we should listen to the administration. Well, this is what the administration presented. This is what they said, there'll be no cuts, not one penny out of the school budgets, nothing. So you can't speak out both sides of your mouth. You can't say, hey, listen to the administration in one case, and then now we're not going to listen to the administration. All right, I don't get that. We may not be able to do a zero for the 6th year. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I'm not worried about the future right now. All right? I'm worried about now. Okay? Our kids are getting what they need now. That's all that counts. Next year, they will get what they need. We may have to do a 2% tax increase. I don't know. I don't know what next year will bring. Okay? So I think helping the taxpayers now, making sure our kids get what exactly they need currently, and like Mr. Toth and Dr. Aldarelli said, we're expanding programs a little bit. Okay? And as far as the district, the taxpayers are part of the district, by the way. I mean, it may not say taxpayers in the code of ethics, but taxpayers are part of the district. That's who funds the district. Okay? So we need to have their support too. So I will be a yes on this vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other board member comments? Okay. So let me just say a couple words. So Brian, you were on the school board last year. So you know there's a budget. There's a budget. Excuse me. There's a budget that we budgeted for JMI. What happened to JMI? We didn't do it. Excuse me, Brian. Excuse me. There is a JMI school. It was budgeted for $16 million. We didn't spend the money. The tax has already been collected. We already collect the money for JMI. So we didn't use it. What do? We'll put in this year. So what you're suggesting us to just put in the bank and accrue interest on the $15 million? Excuse me. You are the administrator, okay? So behave yourself, and I hope your students is not going to embarrass what you're doing here, okay? I'm going to give you one warning. Okay? If you continue to do this, I'm going to let you out. Okay.
Can we make a motion to pass?
6 minutes, bro.
You had 9 minutes already, okay? So we collected $16 million last year for JMI. We did not use the money. What do we do with the money? We put it in this year. And Mr. Toth also mentioned there are regulations how much you can put it in. Best to answer your questions, if we have emergencies, we have a reserve to handle all of that. And also you mentioned about, the Monroe School got burned down. That's why we have a risk insurance to cover that. All right, so all of this has been taken care of. Let's remember, the entire budget went up $11 million. The whole budget went up $11 million. Although the tax portion was the same, the budget went up $11 million. That's total spend we have. Although we had a $2.8 million loss from the state aid, but we still got millions and millions from the state as well. Just compared to last year, we had $2.8 million less. So that's the whole story. The budget went up $11 million. Keep that in mind. The budget went up $11 million. The budget is not the same. It did not stay the same. The budget has been going up every single year. That's why we can accommodate all the increases in salaries, and also we can accommodate all those programs. So superintendent and our BA has answered these questions. There's no cut to the programs, no staff layoff, nothing. The budget went up $11 million. Thank you. Since we already have a motion.
Motion to pass?
Okay, do we need?
I second.
You already, okay. So roll call, please.
Mr. Errico.
Yes.
Mr. Ronak Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Lugo.
No.
Ms. Anjana Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Romano.
No.
Ms. White.
No.
Ms. Shannon Peng.
Yes.
President Shi.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, now let's move on. President comments. I'm just very appalled by what happened, last meeting, and people are voting down on a zero tax increase budget. Meanwhile, the entire budget went up $11 million. So that's all I have to say. So superintendent's report.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my comments brief. We are celebrating Teacher Appreciation Week right in the middle of it, as well as Nurses Week. Thank you so much for all the dedicated professionals that spend our time where the most important pieces happen, and that's in the classroom. So wishing all of you a wonderful week. I know our building level administrators and district administrators have great events planned for you. I know our PTAs and PTOs support those initiatives as well too. So congratulations and thank you for all you do. I do want to make one public service announcement as well, Mr. Shi. We did have our first meeting for our Education Foundation last week. It was really successful. A really great turnout, lots of excellent questions. We are planning another one in the month of, actually later on in May, maybe the early June. We haven't set the date yet. But anybody that's interested in knowing a little bit more about how they can support the Education Foundation, whether they want to be a trustee, from a leadership position, or even just a volunteer that will support a particular event or initiative, any and all are welcome. We have information that is posted and listed on our website in relationship to this. We have an easily accessible QR code, too, that you could sign up, as well as the potential for, actually, not the potential, it is going to happen, an alumni portal, in which if you are a former student from Edison Township and want to give back in any way, shape, or form, you'll have the opportunity to do that, too. So please check out our website. If you're interested in volunteering in any way, shape, or form and supporting the foundation.
Thank you. Now we move on. Today, the resolution we have is basically personnel. So we're going to open up for comments, public comments for resolutions only. So these are personnel agenda. Any comments? All right,
See none, close the portion, public portion.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So now let's have a motion to approve the personnel agenda. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Ms.
Do I have
Payne?
a second?
I second.
Okay, Shannon and Ronick. Roll call, please.
Mr. Erico?
Yes.
Mr. Ronak Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Lugo?
Yes.
Ms. Anjana Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Romano?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes, but I have to recuse myself from any known conflicts.
Noted. I got you. Ms. Payne?
Yes.
President Chi?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, now we open up for public comments. Anything else? Oh, yeah, sorry. Before I open up the public comments, we have a new supervisor sitting here in the back with her parents, Wendy Sattler. And we just... we just met her, right before the meeting, and we wish her nothing but a very successful in our Edison School District. She was a graduate from Edison High, a local product, and came back and teaching Edison School for 15 years, if I remember correctly, 15 years. And this is an internal promotion, and we'll continue to promote within, and we'll continue to hire locally as much as we can. So Wendy is another example of promoting within. So do you want to come over and say a couple words? Just let people see you, our new supervisor for social study middle school.
Good evening. I just want to thank the entire board and Dr. Aldarelli for all of their support, and I'm excited to continue working with the students and the staff of Edison Public Schools, so thank you. Thank you.
So we just approved your appointment, so you're officially here. Okay, thank you. Congratulations. All right, now we open up for public comments. Any other items? Okay, Beth. Ladies first, Matt.
Beth Beth Talke, 15 Midwood Avenue. Just wanted to bring up about activities going on in our schools next Friday, May 9th. It will be at Mason Gross, J.P. Stevens, 50th anniversary of their jazz extravaganza. Open to the public, free to everybody. I believe it starts at 6. I know they're moving it over to, the Douglas Cook campus, just because we're still waiting for approval on J.P. Stevens auditorium, but please, alumni will be there. Our fabulous kids will show their talents there, so please, for anybody who couldn't attend, please do. It's a fabulous night. Thank you. And it's free to the public.
Thank you. Matt? Oh.
Good evening, Matt Revnak, ETA President. So first of all, again, to jump on Dr. Aldarelli's statement, today is actually Teacher Appreciation Day, and tomorrow's National Nurses, School Nurses Appreciation. So again, thanks to everybody that the great service they do for the Edison School District. As I sent out myself an email, and I thank you for sending out your letter today. I know I'm proud to be the president of such fine people. Second thing, I also want to congratulate Wendy. Great choice. She's done a great job as an interim. In fact, we have Shannon, the previous supervisor, sitting in the audience as well. So very happy for Wendy, and good luck, Wendy. It'll be great working with you. Number 3, I want to mention, also we have in the audience Nancy Banos. Nancy was the recipient of the ETEA Support Professional of the Year. It's a little different than... It's a little bit different from the schools support professional, which is things like non-teachers, basically, that are professionals, guidance counselors, certified nurse, etc. We started this years ago because NJA runs it. She will now go to the county for NJA for our non-certificated groups, paraprofessionals, RNs, LPNs, armed security guards, regular security guards, etc. So, again, it's a great honor. We had some great people that were nominated, and Nancy stood out above the rest. So again, congratulations to Nancy. The final thing, I didn't speak before the budget because I knew it wasn't going to make a difference anyway, and I wanted to hear what everybody had to say. I did speak up. I made a speech before it went to the county, okay? And I did say and recommended again the 1%, which would have basically covered our reduction in state aid. And as I sat here, I was a little disturbed, and again, you guys have all my respect, awesome, but I understand your responses. But there's a few things to point out. Jonathan mentioned about, for example, we don't know what's going to happen in 3 months. Heck, we know what's going on right now with the rising prices for everything. Who knows what's going to happen in 3 months? The way you prepare, though, for catastrophes is in advance, not when a catastrophe happens. That's why we have car insurance, homeowners insurance, okay, medical insurance. So when those medical situations come up, that car accident comes up, you're not devastated and you're not wiped out. So you're paying up front to guarantee something that when that does happen, you're not going to become bankrupted by it. I also thought about, as I'm sitting in the audience, was our pension system. Times were great back then. Christy Whitman was governor, started rating the pension system, okay? Then there were also givebacks on NJA's part, which I've spoken up against. They had the drop in the denominator. Some districts elected, if you recall, the 5-year buyout. Things were great. Stock market was great. Their investments were great. Pension system was great. What happened 10 years later? Boom. And since then, it's been nothing but a struggle. Okay? Unfortunately, the district can't take out an insurance policy for these things. The only way to do something like that is to prepare in advance. Okay, so I understand, listen, it's great. I understand, again, helping the taxpayer. I'm a taxpayer too in my town. I don't live in Edison. None of us like to see our taxes go up. But like my vice president just said in the office, a zero budget, you're already behind because of the rate of inflation. Prices are going up. Okay, and again, I understand, like Mr. Urko mentioned with the prices, during the pandemic, everybody agreed. People were out of jobs, people weren't working, etc. But that's in the past now. We don't know what's going to happen. And when you don't go to the money that you can get, and again, the compounding part of that comes into play as well, it's a tough decision to make. Hell, if they told me my taxes weren't going to be raised for 5 years, I'd probably be jumping for joy. On the other hand, I will say, we don't always agree on everything, but I do agree with Mr. Rivera, like, how do you continue to pay for programs when you're not getting the same funding? And to say the budget was raised $11 million, that's great, but we lost state funding. You're taking the money from elsewhere to pay for it, is what it comes down to, which means that money that's in reserve isn't there anymore. And I think that is the point that he's trying to make. So I'm hoping that, none of us have a crystal ball and can predict what happens. I'm hoping that this does not come back to devastate us. We got hit big time about 15 years ago with this, but we did have massive staff cuts. Our paraprofessionals took a 25% hit on their salaries. Programs were cut. I don't want to see that happen again. So, I hope next year you give a little more consideration to things like that. Obviously, it's done for this year, and I hope we don't have any major catastrophes come up over the next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Sue.
Sue Campione, 8 Schiffer Court in Edison. I just wanted, on behalf of her Woodrow family, to congratulate Wendy on her well-deserved promotion. I work in the guidance department and see the respect that the staff and administrators have for her and the great job she's done over the last year, and I'm glad to see that she got the promotion and wanted to congratulate her officially.
Thank you very much. Any other public comments? Okay, Brian, third time.
Hopefully I get some questions answered. So I only have just one question, basically. Last week, the last meeting, I had some concerns in regards to our appointment of the risk manager. We've read some concerns, some emails. I'm curious where we are, Dr. Aldarelli, in regards to some of these emails or possibly allegations, and what the school district or central office is going to do in regards to following up to make sure everything was kosher. Just following up on that. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to say anything? What did he say? Say something. There's nothing. All right, so, you want to say something?
Yes.
Answer his question.
So we are currently reviewing those pieces, but what we did find out is that a lot of that information that you referenced was part of a contract as well, too, at the time that was signed in 2021, I believe.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other public comments?
Part of it.
Motion to close public comment?
Okay. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, Ralph and Ronick. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so now let's open up for board member comments. Any other board members?
Mr. Shi. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Senior citizen.
Senior citizen first. What a gentleman.
I just wanted to say congratulations, teachers and nurses. Our nurses, you know how I love our nurses. Have a great special day, both of you.
Okay, Ralph.
Thank you. I'd like to also, thank the teachers and the entire staff, paraprofessionals, nurses, bus drivers, everyone. Also, I attended a function at Ben Franklin last week, I believe it was, Dr. Aldarelli, right? It was a poster contest.
Read Across America, yeah.
Yep. Read Across America. It was excellent. Mrs. Baps ran it over there, did a great job. We had a great turnout, and always nice to go back home where my two boys went to Ben Franklin School. So no one's there, though. Everyone's gone. But great event. Thank you.
Okay, any other board member comments? Yes, Chris.
Thank you, President Xi. Yes, teacher appreciation. We appreciate all of you. I think I speak for the board and everyone here. We appreciate all of you. And nurses, you said nurses was tomorrow, right? Their day was tomorrow. I'd like to extend that appreciation to the nurses for tomorrow as well. Also, too, Dr. Aldarelli. J.P. Stevens boys volleyball. The first time They won the white division, and this will be their first banner that they could hang in that gym. JP Stevens boys volleyball actually beat North Brunswick, secured the white division championship, and is the first banner that for these boys. I'm very, very happy with them. Doc, I'm holding you to that banner. We got to get it up soon.
You got it.
Thank you.
Jerry, one last thing.
Yes.
Hey, Ralph, 66?
Yeah, I know. I'm a young senior.
My God.
You got shoes older than that.
Okay, any other board members? Okay, I just wanted to say congratulations to Nidia Wahi, and she was named 2025 to 2026 Edison Youth Poet Laureate, and Alexander Poon and Srinidhi Shapley came in second and third. These are the students who won the Edison Youth Poet competition. Congratulations to all of them. Okay. Before we close the meeting, I just want everyone to remember, we talked a lot about the budget. Okay, I'll say it one more time. The budget went up. Budget went up. Thank you. All right. Now can I have a motion to adjourn the
Motion
meeting?
to adjourn.
Okay, second?
I should.
Okay, Ralph and Ronick. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting's adjourned.